What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is magic and you. What if you're magical and all that is standing between you and magic is your point of view? What if you can change your point of view and start choosing to create miracles in your life? I've been many things in my life. I became a medical doctor pretty much of the start. When I was born, my mom was a doctor, and I didn't even think of any other career. So growing up in Russia, I chose to kind of like play with my dolls, put band-aids on my bear, like the teddy bear. And when we came here, of course, I went to college, medical school, and became a family physician, only to quit 10 years later because of major surgery. Started looking for different things, magically found career of art, magically found different modality, and magically became Access Certified Facilitator, Akashic Record Teacher, Facilitator, 3-day body facilitator, have so many hats, and also teaching and facilitating classes around the world on energy healing, which is magical. So right now I'm just inviting people to a different possibility with their health, with their money, with their relationship, and choosing more of magic in their lives. So let's play with the tools of Access Consciousness that was created by Gary Douglas and co-created with Dr. Dan Hare, and you can find out more on Access Consciousness website. And it's around the world. I think it's like 178 countries. Again, magically spread. So what is magic? And why am I saying your point of view create or limits your magic, I would say. And your point of view creates magic in your life. So your point of view creates your reality. According to Access Consciousness, according to Gary Douglas, and according to every modality that I took or studied. Pretty much you ask and you shall receive. That's the truth in the Bible. It's universal law. Because as a human beings, we have one thing in common. We have free will. And that's according to every religion possible. Free will is to choose your destiny, to choose what you do, to choose what you choose, basically. Some people say, oh, I don't have a choice. I have to. I must do something. Well, years ago, when I was doing Woman Within, my mentor actually told me, well, not having a choice is still a choice. And I'm like, what? What do you mean not having a choice is still a choice? Because everything in life we choose. We choose consciously, unconsciously, anti-consciously. We create our reality based on what we believe in. If you believe that you're wrong, you create the wrongness. If you believe that you can do miracles, you will do miracles. I was doing a lot of creative visualization all my life, pretty much. First time I found the book by Shadhi Gavine in 1986. And I started doing exercises first, and then I was facilitating some mini classes on that. Basically, you write down what you desire. You ask the universe. It's a law of attraction. And it magically creates everything. I was amazed because in the beginning I didn't believe that. But I tried. Well, trying is not a good word, but I actually did it. I started doing exercises in the book. I started playing with the tools in that book, and suddenly things showed up by magic. Well, not out of thin air. Like I asked for a new car, even that we were immigrants, we didn't have money, my mom didn't work yet. Maybe she was in residency because she had to go through the whole rigmarole of passing the test, going through residency to become a physician here. And I was in school. So there was no way of getting a new car. But I wrote down I would like to have a new car. I don't remember how I wrote it, but I wrote it in my journal of creative visualization. Guess what? Within 2 days, my mom comes to me and says, you know what, Helen? I think we need to get you a new car. This one is not working. Or I think we had just one car because my mom bought me a car for $200 and it got stolen out of all of it. Seriously, it got stolen. So, not towed away, but stolen. And police couldn't find it. I love that car, by the way. So with that, saying that, I'm like, oh, I'm getting a new car. And then other things started showing up. So according to pretty much most of the modality you ask and you shall receive works. Because there are quantum entanglements that kind of like go around and create their mini magical molecules. Magic is pretty much talking to the molecules and creating different reality. So saying that, how do we create magic in our life? Well, before we go there, how many points of view do you have about good magic, bad magic, white magic, black magic, and all of that? Because a lot of those points of view are limiting your magic in your life. Because you're afraid to do black magic. If you ask for something and it shows up, there is price to pay. And if you're watching me, I'm doing air quotes. If you're just listening, I'm doing air quotes. So if you're afraid of it, of course, it will either backfire or it will not work. That's simple. If you have any belief system that limits the magic, that's what it does. Right now there are a lot of movies about magic and a lot of movies about witches, about charmed ones, about bruja, and there is and bruja is witch in Spanish, and there is a lot about witchcraft, magic, wizards, and evil witches. All of that is limiting our magic. There was a wonderful show, Librarians, and they were guarding magic, so people don't use magic. What if it's all a lie? There is an amazing tool in Access Consciousness, and it's about creating oops, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so when you have a point of view about magic, it limits anything you can create with that. So what if you let go of your points of view about magic? Oh, but magic can hurt. And you see a lot of movies where magic hurts, when evil people use magic for evil. Magic is not good or bad. It's not dark, it's not light, it's not, that's the tool I was talking about, light and heavy. Whatever is true is light. Whatever is heavy is always a lie. So when I'm talking about magic and your abilities, how light do you feel? And when I'm talking about magic is only dark and evil, it's heavy. So it's a lie. Is knife in your kitchen, is it evil? Well, neither. If you're cutting vegetables, it's wonderful because it helps you to cook dinner so you can eat and survive and thrive and eat amazing food or juices like I did this morning. Versus if somebody takes that knife and kills somebody, well, probably not so good. Again, if that somebody is an intruder in your house and trying to kill you and you kill them in self-defense, knife is good again. See, there is no good or bad. It's just how you look at that, how you use it. What do you do with that? When do you do whatever you do with that? Because if you used magic in 1600s, you would be burned at the stake. And how many of you listening to me right now or listening in the recording, how many of you actually been burned at the stake for being witches or warlocks or doing magic or not even doing anything, just somebody was jealous of you and said, oh, she's a witch, she's a bruja, or some other word in different language, ведьма in Russian, and burned, hanged, drowned, or thrown off the cliff and stoned to death? How many of you have been and done that and promised never ever do magic again? And how many of those people who were burned at the stake were actually healers, using herbs and potions to heal people, using energy to heal people? And then somebody got jealous, or maybe that healing didn't go so well, and they get killed. And maybe that your previous reincarnation, if you believe in that. If you don't, that's fine. We still can play with magic, even if you don't believe that you had prior lives. If this is your only life, let's use it to our advantage. And time flies. It's time for our first break of the show. When we return, we'll talk more about magic and how to use it and tools, how to open up more to talking to the molecules. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone, and I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is magic and you. Before we went on a break, we talked a little bit about what is magic. That magic is not good or evil. It's just a tool to use in our everyday life. And we are using it. Interestingly enough, sometimes against ourselves. What if that's still magic? Like anything that shows up in our life, and we call it luck, we call it misfortune or fortune, whatever it is, all of it is magic created by us, because nothing in our life happens to us. We create it by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And we can create it from the thoughts, feelings, and emotion, or we can create from our knowing, being, receiving, and perceiving, which is different vibration. I always talk about emotional scale, the vibrational emotional scale. Hopkins has one. I think Louis Hayes has one. All of them talk about that the emotions, the feelings are at the bottom, like anger. Actually, anger is higher than depression. Fear is lower than anger. And then like apathy, sadness, all those have very low energetic vibrations compared to things like love, gratitude, joy. I think joy is the highest one, or gratitude is the highest one. I don't remember which one. But those are not emotions. Those are already spaces of being, and the spaces of being is where magic is. So I'd like to read the definition of magic, or how it's used. Because a lot of people think of magic outside of them, but you can use magic, the word magic, when you are referring to an event that is so wonderful, strange, and unexpected that it seems as supernatural powers have caused it. You can also say that something happens as if by magic or like magic, and something's supposed to work like magic. So all those uses of the word magic, we've done it constantly. There is a movie, Practical Magic, but that's a different one, where the witches, the story is a little bit weird, but in the story they use potions and herbs to create a different reality. So what if in everyday life we still use magic at the very low kind of like level, basically common denominator with everybody else? And that's what's holding us back. Instead of choosing more, we choose less. And by virtue of choosing less, we are shutting down the magic. Magic that we are. You know the stories when grandma lifted the car to pull a grandchild from under it, or a mother kind of like lifted almost like a crane. All of those, people say, oh, it's adrenaline. But what if we have ability that we have no idea at this moment because we shut it down? So light and heavy, what I was talking about in the first part of the show, the tool, when if it's true it's light and if it's heavy it's a lie, don't believe me. Ask yourself, am I magical? And what do you get? Do you get lightness or heaviness? I know when I'm saying that, I get light, because that's the truth of who we are. What is magic? It's beyond what we understand today. If you show this computer that you're watching, or the phone that you're watching this podcast or listening to podcast on, to, let's say, not even like 1,000 years earlier, but maybe even 50 years ago. 100 years ago, they will definitely say you're a witch, because you got people inside the box. You've seen those movies when people travel back in time. I cannot talk. And when they bring stuff with them, people think it's magical boxes. Magic in reality is something that in this moment people don't understand. And what's interesting, magic in the past, let's say Dark Ages, which were not dark, or even before in Sumeria, magic was everyday occurrence and nobody paid attention to it because they believe in gods that created magic and miracles happen. And who knows, maybe those gods were aliens who, because there is one of the theory that they're aliens and they just had ability or technology that to the ancient people looked like it was magic. Because as I said, even a gun that shoots a projectile that people cannot even see because it goes so fast, and with the noise it creates, it's a magical evil weapon. So all of that is dependent on when things are done or where things are done. And then it's no longer magic, it's just technology. It's no longer healing, it's now witchcraft, if we're talking about Inquisition. So all of that is just a point of view. That's what I'm trying to show you, that depending on point of view you have, that's how you look at magic and you're using it or not using it. So let's do a little magic and actually look at the truth of us. What's true? If you're sitting, if you're laying down, close your eyes and just notice where you're sitting or laying down. Touch your body, kind of like see that you are here, real. Connect with your body. Connect with who you are. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you're working or operating machinery, don't close your eyes. But you still can do the exercise. Just connect with your body. Open your crown. Allow the energy to go through your body, through your feet, through your heart, through the body, through the feet, and connect with our planet, with Earth. And pull the energy of Earth through your feet, through your body, and out of your head. And allow those energies to swirl and mix in your heart, and allow that energy to expand. And drop your barriers if you have some. By the way, that's also magical. If you learn techniques of putting the barriers up, like mirrors and energy barriers, barricades, walls, brick walls, depending on where you are and who you're protecting yourself from, it doesn't matter. Those barriers and barricades actually not so much protect you as separate you, and also separate you from your magic. So if you're willing, drop those barriers and allow yourself just to be totally open, totally vulnerable to everything, including magic. Oh, you have those points of view about curses, that magic is always associated with curses. What if it doesn't? What if curses are curses? If you believe in them, then they affect you. If you don't believe in them, they don't. And what if you're bigger than a curse? And that's what I'm going to kind of like show you. You can see for yourself that you're bigger than any curse and more magical and more powerful than any curse or any demon or anything that you can possibly imagine, or any of people that are trying to hurt you, trying to push you down. Just allow yourself to drop those barriers and expand and see what happens. Play with that. Don't believe me. And if you don't want to, that's fine. If you don't desire it, that's fine too. You can stay behind the walls and the mounts and the mirrors and whatever else you erected to protect yourself. But what if you're not protecting, but limiting yourself? What if you're bigger than those walls? Just saying. So if you're willing, drop your barriers and expand. Maybe a mile or kilometer, depending on where you live. You have different measurements. If you're in America or England, or I think Australia, you're using miles. Use miles. If everywhere else in the world, use kilometers. 100 kilometers, miles, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Make yourself as big as Earth. Bigger, 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 even bigger. And from that space, look at you and your body from before. No contracting. Stay expanded. Just look at that. See what it was, and then expand more. Now expand beyond the solar system, beyond the universe. Yep. How do you feel right now? Heavier or lighter? I'm lighter. I hope you too, because that's actually the truth of you. That's a space that you are. And allow yourself to sense and be that space. How much happier and more joyful you are in that space. Do you have any thoughts, feelings, or emotions? Not so much. If you're having them, check. Did you contract it? You contracted. Because when you're expanded, the space of being is one of the highest vibrations. It's very difficult to hold on to thoughts, feelings, and emotions in that space because they're floating and they're floating away. And a lot of them are not yours because you're aware. Yes, you are aware, and that's magical. It's literally magical to be that. But when we are contracted, we are limiting our magic. We're limiting our influence on our lives, on the lives of others. We are limiting everything. We are limiting our influence on the world. Just allow yourself to be expanded and stay as long as you like expanded while we go on our second break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is magic and you. And in the first two parts, we talked a lot about that magic is your innate ability, that we use it either consciously or unconsciously, either against us or for us. And there is no black, white magic. It's just magic. It's just a tool that you can use in everyday life, but the point of view makes it the difference. Also, we did expansion exercise in part 2 and just realized how powerful, how big we are, that no curses, no bad energy, negative energy can affect us if we are expanded. Because it's all about thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which we actually don't need. And now let's talk about really that we can do magic, we can do healing. And there are a lot of classes in Access Consciousness, in Akashic Records, that help us to heal ourselves, and as if by magic. Because a lot of times people say, oh my God, this was a miracle. But was it a miracle or the magic created by the person? Very simple. We are magical. Every molecule is magical in the universe, including us. I remember when I was working as a physician, I had a lot of times, people called it intuition. At that time I called it intuition, but now I can see that it was magical. I would put a hand on the person and I would get aware of what's going on in their body. Literally, I'm like, okay, we need to do this test. Even that they came with a different problem. Like, I had the woman coming with a sore throat, and I suddenly decided to do gynecological exam, and she actually was on surgical table in surgery that night because she had ovarian cancer. Or another woman that came in with a stomachache and I decided to check her breast where there was a breast cancer. Or people would say to me that when I touched their knee, the pain disappeared. And that's a story for another line. Being a healer, a lot of times we do take out pain and suffering from other people into our body instead of just healing them cognitively, maybe not cognitively, but consciously. Unconsciously, we a lot of times take that into our body, and some people that are not aware doing magic against themselves might get the diseases that they decide, well, maybe not even decided, they're not even aware that they're healing those diseases. I was called a witch doctor by at least one boyfriend of my patient who miraculously after 10 years injury to her back, she suddenly started walking, not just being in a wheelchair or with a walker. She started walking with a cane, and then she actually dropped the cane. And I didn't use that abracadabra. I used supplements, herbs, vitamins, and physical therapy, which to her boyfriend was magical because he was not aware that it is possible to do. And a lot of things are miraculous in our lives. Like right now, I'm looking outside. Nature is miraculous. The way the tree is looking right now, it's fall, it's autumn in Chicago area. So the leaves turning yellow, red, all of them, the colors are just magical. And a lot of times we ignore the magic around us, magic of nature. How our planet amazingly can heal itself, how we can heal ourselves. Think about even magic of birth. When I was in college, we did experiments on frogs. And I feel guilty on one side, but I actually refuse to dissect frogs. I think I asked somebody else to do that for me because I just couldn't. But we were creating life. We were experimenting with eggs and like the frog's eggs and frog's sperm to see and monitor creation of life pretty much. And I never forget that magical moment when the sperm touches the egg and life starts. In a petri dish, there was literally just floating cells, nothing. No, well, some activity. They were live, right? And suddenly there was a burst of magical energy, which I cannot describe. It was all under the microscope. I was lucky to see that moment of conception. And from that moment, from that explosion, like literally almost like a nuclear explosion, but it looked more like aurora borealis, like the northern lights. That's what it looked like under the microscope. And suddenly, those two cells that didn't have any life, or at least that was the perception, that when they touched, they became one, and that one became alive. It started dividing into 2, into 4, into 8, into 16, and forming and moving and changing, and within a few hours, there was already something alive, like a little squirrel that was moving, and then within a couple of days or 3 days, there was a baby frog jumping in that petri dish. And that is miracle and magic. But we don't think of it as miracle and magic. We think of it, oh, it's just the birth or animals gets birth, or but if you've ever been present at the delivery or at birth, of either animal or a human being, or when the little baby bird is breaking from the egg. All of it is magical and miraculous. And when we see that, when we be in that, at least for me, the lightness of being, an expansion is amazing. From that space, we can create anything. I remember delivering babies, and it was elation beyond anything that can be described. It was just total joy, total happiness, and that's one of the spaces of being. Because when we are experiencing those things, we are touching on divine. We're touching on that universal consciousness that is beyond explanation, beyond imagination, where just magic is. And how much we deny that in our everyday life. Because all we need to do when we are frustrated, angry, maybe go outside into nature. And that brings me kind of like in circle to our first part or second part of the show, when we talked about the tool of light and heavy. Because a lot of times we feel heavy and we have no idea why. Because there is a light there. That's as simple as it gets. Heaviness is always a lie and contraction. So if you have no idea, if you've never done access classes, or if you never read any books on access consciousness, it doesn't matter. In everyday life, you still either feel light or heavy. And you can follow that. Follow what's true for you. So what is light? Again, if you're not driving, close your eyes and imagine yourself being in the nature, without people, without your friends, without your relatives, especially your relatives, and just sense how you feel. See the expansion? Nature doesn't put up barriers. Nature doesn't lie. You can be by the ocean, you can be in the woods, doesn't matter. You can be swimming in the ocean, but make sure that in your imagination there are no people. Because otherwise it's harder to judge if it's light or heavy. Right now I just want you to experience that and be that lightness. Yeah, like that. Thank you. Exactly like that. Now erase it and think of a moment when somebody lied to you. Ugh. Or betrayed you. Or yelled at you. Or judged you. Ugh. Would you be willing to let go of that and destroy it? Like all those lies that you bought? All those judgments? Thank you. Do you feel lighter that you let go of that? And imagine yourself in the nature again. Yeah, wash all those lies with the water of the ocean, rivers, with the wind that in the woods. Lay on the grass. Yeah, that's the lightness. And you can always ask, what's light for me? What's heavy? Some people don't feel, because feeling is with the body. They more sense. And time flies. It's our third break of the show, third and final break of the show. When we return, we'll talk more about what's coming up, new classes, and you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is Magic and You. And in the first three parts of the show, we talked a lot about the tools like light and heavy, because what's true for you is light, and magic is always light. And lies are heavy, and lies and judgment will always limit your magic. Because anytime when somebody says, you're this, you're that, puts a definition on you, even if it's a good definition, it's still a limitation. And we talked a lot about magic is present everywhere, especially in nature. Magic is always present in our bodies. Our bodies are magical. We talk a lot about expansion. When we are expanding, there are no thoughts, feelings, and emotion that can limit us. And this is about choice. Choosing what works for you. Choosing where you can use your magic. And we also talked a little bit about curses. If people believe in curses, like somebody cursed you from prior lifetime, you're bigger than that. And that's where the expansion comes in. When you're so expanded, nothing can harm you. Not curses, not judgments, nothing. So what if you are that magical, miraculous, and more powerful than you ever imagined? What if you allow yourself to be that? And you can find out more about access consciousness. You can find out more about Creating Abundance with Ease on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, either as Helen Gitlevich or as Creating Abundance with Ease. Also LinkedIn, Twitter, not so much. I'm not so active there. You can connect with me. I think my shows goes still there. This Creating Abundance with Ease show as a podcast will go on a lot of podcast stations. I think it's over 200 of podcast stations and about 50 TV stations, including cable TV, binge TV. And this podcast airs live every Wednesday. You can catch us live at 11 o'clock Central Time on Wednesdays, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and depending where you are in the world, it can be any time. You can join us as live audience on a Zoom or in the chat room, and you can ask questions, and if you're brave enough, you can be facilitated or interviewed on the podcast. If you'd like to be interviewed, contact me and we'll chat about it. Podcast sometimes can be in Russian, and my classes are in languages either in English or in Russian, or sometimes translated in multiple languages. So if you need translation, let me know as well, and we can set it up. At this moment, there are a few classes scheduled in Russian. How to Love Yourself, Symphony Taster. How to Love Yourself will be tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. Symphony Taster will be next week, November 11 at noon Central Time. And by the way, it doesn't matter which language it is. Symphony, it doesn't have language. It's more energy. It's about what you would like to create. And you're welcome to join us. Creating Abundance with Ease class will be in Russian on November 16, and Foundation will be in Russian. There is Facelift class in English and 3-day Body class in Taiwan that's scheduled in February. The Facelift will be November 14th, and you're welcome to join. And all those classes are about magic, about healing, about creating more in your life. And what if you don't even need any classes? What if you're magical by itself? Just by choosing something, by asking for something, you can create it. Just allow yourself to dream, to imagine. Because a lot of things that we create in our lives are from unconsciousness or anti-consciousness. We're doing it against ourselves. So let's stop doing that. And let's stop being the miracle magic that we are, so we can create a different reality. The world without separation, the world without where the government controls everyone. What if we can be the magic that creates the wave of connection instead of separation? Love and gratitude instead of anger and fear. What if we can totally change the world by choosing more for us, by not changing us? By the way, this is very important. You don't have to change. You don't have to improve. You don't have to do anything. All you can choose to be you. All of you. Not just parts of you that deemed good, bad, all of it, with good, bad, and ugly. Because sometimes what's in this reality judgeable as bad and ugly, actually the magic of you. A lot of things that you were judged as wrong, like you're too much, you're too loud, oh, you cannot do that. What if those are the parts of you that are magical, that some people who judging you and trying to limit you are afraid of? And what if you embrace every molecule, every emotion, every space of being that you are, and let it shine? And again, drop your barriers and expand and ask Earth, what contribution can I be for you, and what can I receive? What can we all receive from this beautiful, amazing planet? What can we receive from each other, and what can we gift with no expectation of receiving back? What if it's about choosing more for us and for the planet and for the world? And what if that will create a different world that will destroy the matrix that does not work right now? I love you all, and I'll see you next week, or you will hear me next week. Bye. Mwah. Take care, and please expect.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.